So today I want to speak on one of the greatest NFL players to ever play the game, or should I say, one of the best two-sport athletes to do it. I want to talk about the infamous Deion Sanders. The reason I chose Deion Sanders is because I recently have been keeping up with the news with JSU and him growing uh, just the outreach on black universities, letting players know that you don't have to go to the cream of the crop. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's in your best interest. When you graduate, you're still able to make connections and have a good, strong tribe behind you. You know what I'm saying? But I want to speak on just the impact that he's made on the game, and I want to speak on a few of his learning curves that we can all learn from. And I want to just talk about, the rise of Deion Sanders, being from Fort Myers and him being able to become a legend, not just, somebody who made it to, you know, NFL and played a few years. I'm talking about somebody who was able to leave their junior year at FSU, go play baseball, come back their senior year as a walk on, and still be able to dominate the game, both playing two sports. He wrote a book, right? And the book is called Deion Sanders: Power, Money, and Sex: How Success Almost Ruined My Life. During the time of me reading this book, I've been able to know that success is not what I always saw it to be, especially from hearing it from one of the greatest. He held a lot of power at Florida State. He done a lot of things that a lot of college students can't get away with today. He was able to pave the way when it came to the flashiness. He was able to pave the way when it came to, being a lockdown corner, being a lockdown athlete all around. He played running back, Pop Warner, quarterback in high school, and I want to talk about a little bit of his life, man. So let's not waste no more time. Let's talk about the rise of Deion Sanders.
Before we talk about the rise of Deion Sanders, we have to discuss the come up. We must start in the mud. You know what I'm saying? And so, based off what I read in the book and based off what he's done in the last 54 years, it only makes sense to focus on key notes and focus on the highlights that he's been able to display. Okay, so what I took from the book was at the beginning of the book he gave you a little bit of what he was going through with his wife, what he was going through with his family, him growing up with his stepfather, right? But his father being present in his life, but not being there on a day-to-day basis and not really doing what a father does. You understand? During this time, Deion Sanders was able to develop a rare ability to stand out in the crowd. Right, he grew up in Fort Myers, Florida, on Henderson Ave, right, which is right next to a graveyard, which is the only graveyard in Fort Myers, Florida. There's a few more in different parts, but this is the main one. This is the one that everybody goes to. You know what I'm saying? When it's time to go. So the fact that he grew up right down the street from where my grandmother grew up when she was coming up is funny. That just goes to show you how small the world is, right? What I also took from the book was that Deion was his power was speed. Everybody has a superpower. When you go to high school, you got the best dressed, you got good looking girls, you got super tall guys, super strong guys in the weight room, super charismatic guys, right? Deion was able to reign supreme as far as power because he was able to outrun everyone. You know what I'm saying? He was able to outplay everyone. When the opportunity presented itself for the team to win, or there was 3 seconds left on the shot clock, passed the ball to Deion, and it showed throughout his career. During this time of him rising through the ranks, he won a Pop Warner Championship football. Funny enough, this would be the same place he played baseball and professional football years to come. And when he won this championship football game, I believe they had a party at one of the cheerleaders coach's house, and it was a mansion. This was in the 70s, right? Deion saw how big the house was and how luxurious it was, and he realized that his mother didn't have these things. So then when he went home, he told his mother that, you know, this is gonna be your life soon. I'm gonna build you a house, and you will never have to work again. And according to the book, his mother didn't think nothing of it and told him to proceed with whatever's going on in life, right? As I talk about junior high school, right, he gets cut from his team as a quarterback 8th grade year because he got suspended over disrespecting or, you know, whatever else was going on at the time with another teacher, and they suspended him. The coach kicked him off, and at this point I realized that, you know, these things that happened to him were he was very conscious back in the 70s and the 80s, and his life, he was very conscious about his life. He had real good people in his life that really cared about him, that really wanted him to succeed. You know what I'm saying? And I was able to learn a lot from just the first part of the book. Okay, so with junior high, I would say that Deion experienced, you know, a smooth life, you know, pretty much up until 8th grade, you know. I would say that the most dramatic thing that happened that I read in the book was him throwing a football at a prejudiced white girl's face in the parking lot. Now, before you prejudge, you got to know the full story. She was calling him out his name. She was antagonizing him, and you know, is it right? No, it's not right. But that's the story.
So then we move off into junior high.
KKK members filled the auditorium that night during a basketball game that Deion was attending. And keep in mind, this is a star basketball player as well. He shined in everything he did. I read one part that he said that it was over. He said that everything I touched turned into gold, but inside I was broken and totally defeated. We'll get to that later. Later that night, after the basketball game, they had to sneak him out the back because there was going to be a race war in the gym. And from that day, he was able to understand that the decisions that he made really could cost him. And this is 8th grade, you know what I'm saying? And this was a crazy time because this is him about to go into high school. As everybody knows, he excelled in high school as well, both in the classroom, on the field, basketball. And I also read that he was very charismatic. He had a thing for being the light in the room. Whatever room he came in, he was able to take your shine. You know, he didn't try to, he just did it. He just had a thing about him where he can take your shine and he can sit with the finest. And this is something that he already knew within himself, as far as being good with people, being charismatic, and being able to understand human psychology. That's why he's friends with MC Hammer, and that's why Diddy just gave him $1 million to JSU. You know what I'm saying? And he's dabbled with Snoop Dogg, came to his Hall of Fame ceremony along with Ice Cube, both in attendance, like brothers, like they were best friends. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that this isn't by mistake. Of course, he's a great athlete, but you know, I'm pretty sure they see something in Deion Sanders, the great Deion Sanders, for them to want to be at his, you know, Hall of Fame ceremony, and because they could have watched it on TV like everybody else, you know. So it must be, you know, a good connection between them. As I go off into more of the book and more of the story, There's a lot of documentaries on YouTube that talk about his rise at Florida State University and the intricate details on what happened from freshman year up until his senior year. And you can really know, through other documentaries. But this isn't a documentary. This is more so a book review, and I want to talk about the things that they don't discuss, right? One thing that I read in the book, right, was his time at FSU and him being able to stand out so much that he was able to get a deal from the Yankees his junior year. During this time of him receiving a deal, which was a bonus, a sign-on bonus, his junior year, they allowed him to play both football at FSU and continue on to play baseball, right? This was never done before, besides Bo Jackson. You know what I'm saying? But those two have similar stories, different paths, right? Deion Sanders was able to pull up his senior year at FSU, and I believe it was convertible, and he was still able to shine as primetime. Now, when you look at Deion Sanders, he's this loud, flamboyant. He like to use the word flamboyant nowadays. That now that I read his book and now that I watch interviews, you can see a lot about a man, you know what I'm saying, and his thinking from what he writes down, because he wrote this book years ago. And what I realized is that this flamboyant, cocky, arrogant football player with this 5-star ability is something that he created for marketing dollars. You know what I'm saying? And is no different than KFC branding their chicken, or Sam Walton branding Walmart, right? So let me get back to the point. By him branding himself and him coming back his senior year with his convertible and him being able to also stand out on the field, you know what I'm saying? He can talk the talk and get on the field and dominate it, right? This man was able to negotiate his deals as far as like, knowing that he was gonna build his mom a house. That he was that confident in knowing that in the future I'm gonna build my mom a house, like I told myself when I was 7 years old. You know what I'm saying? And this is a powerful, you know what I'm saying? This is a powerful knowing within, right? So I want to push it off past Florida State, and I want to go off into, Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? The second time he touched the ball at Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? He was just coming back from a baseball game, and he caught the punt. He dropped it. Now, he usually don't drop punts, and I heard him say that one time. He usually don't drop punts. But he picked it up, and he was able to score his first time touching the ball. When he went to San Francisco, right, for the 49ers, he was able to accelerate at a high level, so much so that he won a Super Bowl for the 49ers, right? I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. He was able to lead the 49ers and go off to play for the Cowboys, right? This man was a freak athlete, right? Played baseball, football, and ran track in high school against world-renowned athletes and some of the fastest people in the country. You know what I'm saying? He was doing all that, right? When he did end up going to the Cowboys, they gave him $35 million. After they gave him the $35 million, this is when he came out with his song, Must Be the Money. Everybody knows about that. You can go look it up, you can research it. And he was touring. He toured the country, pushing this song. So as I'm reading this and studying this, I kind of knew a little bit, but me really getting the story from the man himself showed me that he really was a winner in everything he did. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that. And then I read something else that was powerful. God gives his gifts to his, his strongest soldiers. You know what I'm saying? In other words, like his ability to run, his ability to be so athletic is a power. And he knows that it's not through him, it's through God. You know what I'm saying? Very spiritual man, very God-fearing man. You know what I'm saying? He ended up developing this fear for God through, you know what I'm saying, learning from T.D. Jakes and other pastors that I cannot name all at once. I really don't want to just talk about his football career because there was prime time and then there was Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders was a man who was suffering. Prime time was this marketing genius, this two-sport athlete, this millionaire, you know what I'm saying, who was able to maintain a positive mindset and a positive lifestyle. No, he didn't smoke, he didn't drink, he didn't hang with negative people. Now, everybody fucks up when they're young. There's certain things that you're not gonna write in your book. There's certain things that's in the past and you're not gonna like reopen. Going into more so, I'm not gonna speak on his personal life, even though it was in the book. He got divorced from his wife, that's public. He was able to come back from being suicidal, that's public. He talks about that. You know what I'm saying? Although he had all the riches, the money, the power, the respect, women, it wasn't enough. He said he would buy new jewelry and it didn't amount to nothing. He said that he would have 3-4 women in the bed and he wasn't fulfilled. You know what I'm saying? Cars, he would buy cars for $200,000 and you know if he felt empty, he would buy a house and it wasn't a home. You know what I'm saying? So Deion Sanders definitely suffered being who he was, you know what I'm saying, maintaining that life, being a leader for other people on his team, being a positive role model until he found God. Now at this point in the book, it gets on a spiritual path, right? It gets on a path towards redemption, right? And so what I want to say is I learned a lot about having faith in God and putting God first. Not that I didn't put God first, but you know, me reading the story of someone who had it all and really trying to retrack his steps and try to like fix his life on a positive note and be not wealthy, not only outside to people, but wealthy inside to himself, right? So I want to go ahead and move off into his spiritual path. What I really want to focus on is what I've learned and the big key lessons, the key notes that I took from the book. And I wanted to talk about how he said he's been high stepping since 1974. Nothing's new. Him earning his name was because he was able to shine when a moment came. When an opportunity presented itself, he was able to go in and seize the moment every time. And he mentioned one time that everything he touched turned into gold. So man, having that confidence about yourself and having that ability to know that you're God's child and you able to, you know what I'm saying, manifest them powers that God bestows upon you into the world, whether it be athletics, smarts, you know what I'm saying, counseling, teaching, whatever you do, you know. I say that once he signed with the Cowboys, he was able to go off and live a rap career, touring the world with beautiful women, as he says. But Deion was suffering, right? And he didn't have all his pieces together within, but he had everything outside. So he ended up giving his life to God more towards the end of the book with T.D. Jakes down in Texas. And around when T.D. Jakes left from Virginia to Texas, Deion moved from the 49ers to Dallas, and it all added up around the same time. The universe conspired to Deion's prayers as far as him wanting something new in his life, something worth living for, because again, you know, he did drive his car off the edge of the cliff while being at the top of the world. So that lets you know that money isn't nothing. And the man is a legend, you know, being able to know that, you know, you can drive in Cincinnati, you could drive your car, your Mercedes-Benz off the cliff to kill yourself and, you know, go give your life to God. It gotta mean something, you know, whoever your God is, you know, it gotta mean something powerful. And here's a man that's a Hall of Famer cornerback. You know, how many times you hear that? Cornerback Hall of Famers. You know what I'm saying? There's not too many. Two-sport athlete Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying? And not even a Hall of Fame in baseball, but just a two-sport athlete on a major level. You know, major league level that's doing it in the same week. That's different, man. Even now with JSU and, you know, now that he's getting a little older, things are starting to, you know, tweak him with his foot surgery. You know what I'm saying? It's not stopping him though, man. Everything, blessings keep bestowing upon him. JSU, God sending him out to Mississippi to, you know, coach these 5-star, 4-star, 3-star recruits. You know what I'm saying? Is a blessing, man. It's giving kids a perspective to keep it within yourself. If you want to go play sports to where you can join a society, join an organization to where if you don't end up at NFL draft, man, you'll still have a strong team, strong tribe behind you that's gonna help you excel your business, that's gonna help you grow as a man, that's gonna help you fulfill whatever goals you're trying to fulfill outside of playing football. And I believe that Coach Prime, Coach Deion Sanders is doing an amazing thing, man. And reading his book, I'm inspired. I don't want to, you know, talk about his life like it's just like that was the end of it. It's only the beginning. I really wanted to do this video because, you know, it was inspiring seeing what he was doing, and for that book to fall in my lap and for me to just go ahead and pick it up, I couldn't put it down. If you want to read a good book, man, go read Deion Sanders' Money, Power, and Sex: How It Almost Ruined My Life. If you're not into books, if you're not into reading, all you got to do is just go watch his interviews, and he is an open book. The same thing he said in books is literally the same thing he's repeating years later, 20 years later. You know what I'm saying? He's a great preacher, he's a great talker, he's a great motivator, he's a great coach, man. I fuck with Coach Prime, you know what I'm saying? So I don't want to waste nobody else's time, man. I appreciate you guys tapping in. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you guys. We are on the road towards 525 subscribers, you know, and really we just want to grow the tribe so we can teach more people. And so I appreciate y'all, man. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Thank you.